Hello everyone, today I'm going to prepare cod with confit garlic. This dish is special. Cod is Christmas. Prepare and finish in oven. And cod, if you try it at home, this is a totally Christmassy dish. The great thing about this dish is that you can prepare it well ahead of the meal and then finish it off with a quick blast in the oven. Let's get started. We cut all of this so it doesn't get in our way. We very carefully cut off the head, always using the extremely sharp knife, dragging it along the bones to make sure we absolutely don't leave any precious meat behind. You can clean it from the top and the bottom, but I got used to cleaning it this way when I was little. Do you see? Here are the bones. We've got it now. We've got the fillet now. We remove the other half and set it aside for the moment to take off the black belly part. You take a little piece of paper and look how easy it is. That's the part of the stomach inside, and we're going to make 2 servings. So we go this way and cut here. All right, let's get started. I'm using these boards, which isn't the right one, but I use it so you can see it in the video, because if I use the whiteboard, you can hardly see anything. And that's how it looks. We start with approximately 7 or 8 cloves of garlic. These cloves are peeled and then chopped up very finely. The process of chopping is crucial because it ensures that the garlic will blend seamlessly into the dish, releasing its full flavor. We take our time to chop the garlic well, making sure each piece is small and even. This finely chopped garlic is an essential component for our tomato sofrito, which is a foundational element in many Mediterranean dishes. Now moving on to the tomatoes, we carefully select ripe ones and begin by cutting them. As we cut, we make sure to remove any blemished or bad parts, ensuring only the best parts are used. However, we intentionally keep the skin on the tomatoes. The skin not only adds texture, but also contains nutrients that are beneficial. This step is important because the skin will contribute to the overall taste and nutritional value of the sofrito. By incorporating these elements, we are preparing a rich and flavorful base for our dish. So, always washing it well. Washed. You remove the ugly bits you see on the outside, but that's it. If there are any, all right, we're going to chop this up. As you can see, it doesn't really matter how you make the cuts, because this is going to be sautéed and almost everything will fall apart. So it doesn't really matter. What you need to do is cut it into little cubes. It doesn't matter if some are bigger than others. We need to use a not very small amount of tomato, because what we're going to do is sauté it and remove absolutely all the liquid it has. To reduce and dry out all the broth, it will end up being much less than what we have here. Sure. Well, first we're going to sauté the garlic and the tomato. Let the garlic get a little color, but we don't want it to burn, and we'll add the tomato right away. It's important that it doesn't burn, so it should get a little color, but we don't want it to burn. That's why you need to keep stirring it, so it doesn't stay in the same spot and burn. Start to get some color. Well, as you can see, it already has some color. Before it burns, let's add the tomato. And now we'll let it simmer on a lower heat. Since the fresh tomato doesn't have much liquid at first, what we do is add a bit of water, which will all disappear later. We'll leave it like this and stir it occasionally. This has to be completely dry. You'll see it later because this doesn't take just 5 minutes. Depending on what you have, the heat you have, just keep stirring so it doesn't burn, but it loses absolutely all the liquid, okay? Because this is going to go on top, so what we don't want is for it to leak later. I forgot one thing. Now, we'll add half a teaspoon of sugar. This is to take away the bitterness from the tomato and the acidity. As you can see, we're almost at the caramel stage. Let's keep stirring so it doesn't stick. We've already added the sugar to eat up the acidity. And now we have to let it sit for a few minutes. As you can see, look at this. Do you see how it turned out? It's completely dry. There's no water left anywhere, not a drop, nothing. Now we'll set this aside and reserve it for later. We're going to confit the garlic. Let's add a little bit of water. We're going to add a good handful of garlic, a couple of heads of garlic, and we're going to let it cook for a bit. And then we'll add the sugar, which is what will make the syrup and what will confit the garlic. We've had the garlic boiling for a few minutes, and now we're going to add the sugar. Here we're going to make a kind of jam, but not as thick, a bit more liquid, like a type of jam. We mix sugar with the water and let it cook until the garlic is done. First, we served it with just water for about 5 minutes, and then with the sugar for another 5 minutes along with water. It needs to have water so it doesn't get too thick, so it doesn't caramelize too much either. Do you see? How has it reduced? It's all reduced now. We have the garlic, it's cooked, and now what we'll do is blend it. Let's start the fire. And now we have the second step. We have the garlic and we have the tomato. Well, we're going to blend the garlic, the confit. See how it turned out? Like a little jam, but not too thick. We're going to carefully and lightly fry the cod, and then we will fry the cod in some delicious and high-quality, good extra virgin olive oil. We gently season the cod a little, the fresh cod, and then we lightly coat it in flour and serve. At this point in the cooking process, we need to carefully saute the ingredients labeled as 1 and 2. This involves gently cooking them in a pan with a small amount of oil over medium heat until they are soft and slightly golden. After that, we must proceed to sear the mixture. Searing is a technique where we cook the surface of the food at a high temperature until a brown crust forms. This step is crucial for locking in flavors and enhancing the overall taste of the dish. We don't need to overdo the searing process, as the next step involves placing it in the oven for further cooking. Therefore, a light sear is sufficient at this stage. All right, we have this ready to proceed. This ensures that the flavors are sealed in and the texture is just right before it goes into the oven. Let's carefully and gently put it here so it thoroughly and completely soaks up all the excess oil and stays on the paper, absorbing all the oil from the surface of the item or food being prepared. Well, we have this ready. We carefully and gently place the cod on the tray with precision. We put just a little bit, a small spoonful of the garlic jam or confit, not too much of it, just a small amount of it. But let it gently and thoroughly soak all the cod on the top side, ensuring it soaks completely and evenly. This dish is very old. I was taught this dish. Francisco Franco, head chef of the Bailen Hotel. When I was very young, I was about 17 years old. We used to make it for Christmas meals because it was a real dish. The flavor of the cod with the tomato and baked mayonnaise is truly spectacular. And now we're going to add the tomato. You absolutely definitely need to add the tomato. Essentially a thicker layer, and it should be spread all over the cod. You can also do this with hake. The ideal dish is cod because of its flavor with the confit. But hake also turns out spectacularly. I've already told you that it's not necessary. Don't feel like you have to follow the recipe to the letter because you can use any fish you have. But it is not an ideal fish is this one. Well, let's cut a piping bag. This is very simple. If you have a piping bag, great. And if not, you can even use a spoon. What happens is that I like to present it this way because it looks nicer. Now you'll see we're going to use mayonnaise if possible. I really don't like advertising that. But we're going to use Hellmann's mayonnaise because it's the one that holds up in the oven. Not all mayonnaises can withstand the oven because there are some mayonnaises that, well, not just some, almost all of them, to be honest. When we put them in the oven, they turn liquid, and this one doesn't. In this step, we will carefully cover the tomato with a rich sauce. This is essential for the dish as it allows the flavors to blend perfectly. Make sure to spread the sauce evenly over the tomato, ensuring it is completely covered. This attention to detail will enhance both the taste and presentation, making it a delight for the senses. Remember, patience and precision are key, as this will greatly affect the final result of our dish. The good thing about this is that you can prepare it in the morning and serve it at night. All that's left to do now is give it a quick blast in the oven to brown the mayonnaise a bit. And the fish is just about done because we haven't cooked it all the way, so it doesn't dry out. And we have the dish ready. We just need to put it in the oven. Well, we already have this wonderful dish here. Let's plate it up and you'll see how beautiful it looks. Look at this wonderful dish. And you can't even imagine the flavor